Hi, and welcome to another episode of Heart and Health Wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Melissa Welch, and I'm so glad that you are here. If you are new to the podcast, just know that this is a place where we talk all about your wellness, from your physical health, your mental health, your social health or relationships, and then also how you find purpose and meaning in life. And so we wrap all of that up together and call that biopsychosocial spiritual health and wellness. That is the focus for this podcast. Today, we're specifically going to be talking about the difference between time management and energy management. I hear people say all the time that they feel like they just don't have enough energy. And yet we all have time, but for some reason, some of us feel like that time is spent where we're totally depleted of energy. And some of us feel like we have leftover energy at the end of the day. So today we're going to talk about how you can manage your energy rather than manage your time. So hopefully that is helpful to you regardless of where you're at in life, whether you're a student or a professional or someone who is retired and enjoying that season of life. Regardless, I think these lessons or these reflections will be helpful to you as you continue to move forward in a way that is taking care of your whole person wellness. So let's go ahead and think of an example of a time when you felt like you had all the time in the world, but no energy left. I tend to think of examples of the weekend, especially Saturday, maybe when I've had a long week, lots going on. And so Saturday, now I have all of this time, but I have no energy and I just feel like I need to rest. Okay. So that is what I'm talking about. You have the time, but you don't necessarily have the energy. What I tend to do on those days is spend time with doing something or with people that are going to fill my cup and rejuvenate my energy, right? So we'll look at what that can look like for me, but also what that looks like for you, more importantly, so you can put that into practice. The thing is, we've been told over and over again that time management is crucial in order for you to achieve your goals, to feel successful in life. You've got to be able to manage your time. And there is some truth to that. Absolutely. You've got to be able to get to things on time, show up, be where you need to be, leave on time. All of that is important, and be present where you're at when you're there. But sometimes time management is not the only piece that you need. The truth is that if you don't manage your energy, that your time really doesn't matter. You could show up to work on time. You could be there for a full day. You could leave on time and still feel like you had zero energy while you were there and got nothing done. That is possible. Managing your energy is crucial so that you can not only be where you need to be, but be fully present and invested in doing whatever it is that you need to do when you're there. So let's talk real quick about why time management alone is not enough. So first example I want to give you, we've got two moms. They have the same 24 hours in a day. And I say that in quotations because sometimes that drives me crazy because, a single person in their 20s who can do whatever the heck they want versus a mother in her 80s with at least one, if not multiple children. It's 24 hours, but I don't know that it feels the same. Okay. So you've got two moms, the same 24 hours. One is feeling totally energized and the other one is feeling depleted. So who is going to get more out of their day? Probably the one that feels like they have more energy, right? Because they're able to be present. They're able to be engaged with their children, with their family, with their spouse, at their job, whatever it might be. They can be present because they have the energy for it. The mom who feels depleted feels absent. Her mind is somewhere else. She's struggling to get through the workday, whatever it might be. She's got the time. She's where she needs to be, but her brain is not there. It's completely disconnected. And some of that is like a survival thing, right? Like she just has to get through the day, but the energy to be able to make the day what she wants it to be, or to be available to other people in her life that she wants to be available for, the energy is just not there. So I want you to think real quick. When was the last time that you had hours to do something, but you did not have the energy? What were you doing? What did it look like? What time of day was it? What day of the week was it? How did you find yourself in that situation where you felt like you had hours to do something, but zero energy to make it happen. I think one of the things that we need to do in order to be able to better manage our energy is to recognize the things that are draining our energy versus energizing us. So we need to understand what it is that's depleting our energy so that we can either reduce that negative impact or remove it if possible, right? Some things are going to take up our energy. And that's a good thing. We want to put our energy into it and it leaves us feeling drained afterwards. We just need to be aware of that. On the other hand, there's things that are draining our energy, like doom scrolling, where you're using lots of mental energy to focus on snippet, 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 but then afterwards you just feel exhausted. That's the kind of energy drain that we don't want in our lives, right? So let's look at some common drains. So doom scrolling is a big one. If you are not already tracking how much time you're spending on your phone through social media or something like that, you should absolutely do that. There's a very good chance that you are using a smartphone and that smartphone has the capability to tell you how much time you are spending on social apps. So this is something that I do with my phone. However, I give myself a little bit of a break because a lot of times when I'm on the social media apps, it's for quote unquote working hours, not necessarily just because I'm scrolling, but sometimes I still catch myself scrolling and I tell myself, Melissa, you got to get off. This is not helpful to you. Okay. So if you're someone who's spending hours a day doom scrolling or just, checking out what everyone else is up to in their lives, get outside and do something for yourself and live your own life. Doom scrolling on social media is going to deplete your energy and it is not fueling you. There's good value on social media, but get it in small doses. There is an app that I'm aware of. I've not started to use it yet on my own phone, but I want to look it up. And if I find it before posting this episode, I'll put it in the show links for you. But basically, it checks in with you when you go to click on an app like, Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and it'll say, okay, are you sure you want to open this app for one? And then if you do want to open this app, how much time are you willing to spend on this app? And then once you've finished that 30 minutes or whatever, it will kick you out. And then if you want to spend more time on it, you have to go through that whole process again. So it's nice in a way to just kind of create this checks and balances for you to make sure that you're only spending as much time as you want to on it and really helping you to be intentional and mindful about the time that you are spending on social media. But anything, whether it's your email, doom scrolling, watching TV, whatever, junk TV can be a fun way to shut off your brain, but how much time are you actually spending on it? It does drain your energy. Another thing that commonly drains people's energy is unprocessed negative emotions, such as guilt, shame, or anxiety. So anytime your brain is ruminating on something and just thinking about it over and over and over again, a lot of times your brain is trying to solve a problem, right? Like we like to look at puzzles and figure out the solution to the puzzle. And so even things like guilt, shame, anxiety, your brain is trying to solve a puzzle. Could I have done this better? Should I have said this? Should I have looked that way? What should I have done in this situation that would have made it better? Your brain is trying to solve a problem, but it's using energy as it's doing that. It's not like your brain is just turned off and it's running in the background. It is actively using your energy. So a really important thing to do is start to be more mindful and aware of what's going on internally for you. And when you catch yourself getting into one of those negative loops and the doom scrolling of the brain starts, you want to turn it off, redirect it to something that's more positive, more productive, more helpful to you and your overall wellness. Another thing that's going to be draining your energy is overcommitment. I am definitely someone who is guilty of signing myself up for something that I don't necessarily want to do, but I feel like I should do it because it's going to be helpful to somebody else. Or even sometimes I'll admit it because I think it's going to make me look good if I'm the one to volunteer for it. But at the end of the day, I don't want to go to it. I don't want to be involved in it. And I feel drained and I don't have enough energy to go around and to do all of those extras. This is something that I've really worked on in the last several years to be better about saying no. And sometimes with a child now, I feel like I have that as an excuse and it makes it a little bit easier. But find whatever that is for you, even if it's just to protect your own energy. Have a reason to protect yourself, your energy, your family time, whatever it might be, and say no. And just remember that I don't like saying no as a solid sentence. I feel like it's helpful to have some kind of reasoning there, but you don't technically have to have anything else after that. You could just say, no, thank you. I'll add the thank you on there. I can't just say no. But no is a complete sentence. You can leave it at that and keep it simple and continue on with what is most important to you so that your energy can be used where it is most valuable. But overcommitment is definitely an energy sucker. So make sure that you're catching that when it's happening and feel free or empowered to say no when you need to. All right. So what are some common energizers, things that help you and that help you get going and fuel you with more energy? Well, sleep is huge, right? Like you're not going to have any energy if you're not sleeping well. So make sure that you are consistently going to bed at a reasonable time, getting enough hours of sleep, and then getting up at a reasonable time. Again, that sleep hygiene is crucial for your brain to be able to function, for your mood to be good, for you to have energy to do what you need to during your day, and so many other things. So make sure you are getting your sleep. Movement, if you can get up and get the body moving in that first part of your day, even if it's just something simple like a 20 or 30-minute walk, even a 20-minute stretch or some yoga in your living room, fabulous. Get the body moving. If you're not someone who is super physically active and you don't do a lot of activity already, but you want to get into it more, start with something simple like stretching on the side of your bed. When you wake up, instead of just getting straight out of bed and going to the bathroom or brushing your teeth, whatever you do first, sit on the side of your bed and reach your arms up over your head. Get a good stretch on your back, reach your arms out, stretch your legs out, roll your neck around a few times, get your body moving. Okay. So we are intended to be moving around and using our bodies throughout the day. But our society has created this situation where we're still all the time, and it is not healthy for us. In fact, it is killing us. It is so unhealthy for us. So moving your body is crucial, and it's going to help you feel energized, even if it's a little bit amount of time. And even if it's not something that's super strenuous or intense, keep it simple, keep it doable, and incorporate some of that movement into your normal daily routine. Morning is great, but any time of day is better than nothing. Hydration, hydration, hydration. Your body is made up of water. Your cells need water in order to be able to function properly the way they need to. And when your body is dehydrated and it's dried up, things aren't moving and flowing through your blood and through your body the way that they need to. Okay. You're not getting the energy and the nutrients and all the things to your brain, the oxygen to your brain like you need to. So when you put water into your body or you hydrate, you drink your electrolytes, whatever it might be, keep yourself hydrated, everything flows more smoothly and it just works better for you. So if you're feeling like you don't have enough energy and you want a little boost and something that's really quick, chug a glass of water and see if that helps some. Short connection with a friend, a family member, a loved one, a spouse, a child, sister, best friend, whomever. A short connection with them can be so special. Today, I was talking to a friend through text message and she wasn't able to text back. She's got her hands plenty full. And she sent a voice message. And I know I've talked about voice messages before, but I don't send them enough. And hearing her voice, I haven't talked to her in a really long time because she doesn't live close by, but hearing her voice was so lovely. It was just so special. I was like, oh my goodness, I miss her so much. And just hearing her voice was so much more special than reading a text message. So if you can do a voice message or a quick phone call or FaceTime is even better. Absolutely do that. I'm talking 10 to 15 minutes, does not have to be a long time, but just spend some time connecting with somebody to feel energized again. One of the examples that I like to give my students is, when you're really struggling in the clinic and you're just feeling totally depleted because you've had some hard cases that day or you have something difficult that's going on in your own life personally that you're having difficulty separating from work. One of the best things that you can do is go into your next visit with a patient and just totally connect with them. Tune in with what they have going on. I joke all the time that therapists choose to be therapists because it's an easy way for us to disconnect from our own stuff and connect to what you have. But there's some truth to that. When I connect with another person, I'm there for them and I'm hearing them and I'm engaged with what's going on for them. I don't have time to be worried about everything else in my life. I'm with them. And when I leave that interaction and I feel so good about being present and being available to them, it fills me with so much energy and motivation to keep going. So If that's you, maybe you don't work in a clinic or you don't work with patients, that's okay. But if you're really struggling, call a friend, call a family member that you care about and listen to them. Don't focus on venting or spilling all of your tea for them to hear. Ask them how they're doing. Engage with them because you want to be there for them. And I promise you, you're going to leave that call feeling so much better. Don't have to make it really intense, but just be available and accessible and connect with a friend even for a short amount of time. Last one for this is sunlight. Oh my goodness, how we have ruined society by pushing ourselves indoors all of the time. You have got to get outside. I post on my Instagram stories all the time on the weekends. Get outside, do something fun, connect with people you love, move your body, but getting outside into the sunshine is so good. If you just couldn't go stand out there, even if it's really hot or really cold, be out there for just a little bit, just connect with nature and be outdoors. It can really, really energize you. So again, if you can tie that with physical activity and go for a walk outside, it is so good for you. So good for you. So make sure you're making time for that. Okay, so here's a quick way that you can do this. So if you are like me, you might be guilty of trying to work at your desk instead of taking an actual break. I don't know why I do this. I feel like sometimes I'm just in the flow of things, and so it feels nice to just continue it, and I don't want to stop it. I like my desk. It's comfortable, whatever. I eat at my desk a lot. If you are having a rough day in particular, probably good all the time, but especially if you're having a rough day or you're feeling like you don't have a lot of energy, instead of working through your lunch at your desk, take 10 minutes to go outside, and that is going to help fuel you for the next several hours that you have of the workday. So we have this really beautiful area to go walking around our clinic. And so sometimes if I'm just feeling overwhelmed by a situation, or I had a really intense interaction with a patient or something like that, or I get an email I don't like, whatever it might be, sometimes I just walk outside to take a few minutes, listen to the birds, feel the breeze on my face, walk in the sunshine, and it's really nice. It does absolutely rejuvenate me. And every time I do it, I think, oh my goodness, I should be doing this every single day, at least once, if not 2 or 3 times, because it's just so lovely. Now, what was I going to say about that? Well, I was going to say, when you do go outside, so this is a fun fact, and I don't know if I've shared it on the podcast before, but we've found that when you hear birds singing, that is a sign to your nervous system that you are safe. Because when there are predators around, the birds don't sing. They get quiet and they hide, or they send alarm calls, but they're not singing their happy Tweety Bird songs. So when you go outside and you're listening to whatever noise is out there, including the Tweety Bird songs, it signals to your nervous system there's no predators around here. You're safe to be at ease. Now, fun fact on that pretty walk, I think it was last week or the week before, I went for a walk out there, and I kid you not, I saw bear poo. I'm talking bear scat. Now, for those of you who don't know me in real life, I grew up kind of in the country, grew up on the land playing outside. I'm a country girl at heart, but I like the access to the shopping and things like that. I'm definitely not a city girl. My sister's the one who lives in Houston. She's a city girl. I'm not a city girl, more of a country girl, but a little on the brown. Anyways, so I see this bear poo on the walkway. And I'm like, I was feeling so relaxed. And now I feel like I have to be on high alert that there's these bears out here. So when I reminded myself about this whole, when the birds are singing, you're fine thing, I remembered that when I was actually going for that walk, the birds were singing and there were no issues and all was good. So the bears probably weren't around. Anyways, all that to say, if you have an opportunity to walk outside, to listen to the birds, get the sunshine, move your body, absolutely do it. Just be bear aware if you're in an area with black bears. I have zero concerns about black bears attacking me or anything like that. I know they're avoiding people at all costs, but it was just funny that I went out there to relax, and then I realized that there were bears out there. Okay. I think that's good on examples. I think y'all get the idea here. Things are going to drain you and other things are going to energize you. We just want to be aware of what's happening and what we're spending our time doing. Here's a reflection question for you. What is one daily activity that drains you more than you realized? And what are you going to do about that? And a follow-up question is, what is one thing that is consistently giving you energy? And how are you going to make sure that is happening for you either daily or at least weekly? And how can you make it a more consistent, regular part of your routine? Okay, before we keep going, I want to take a break to tell you about We Are Amma. This is one of my favorite companies. They're US-based, women-owned, and they make absolutely beautiful gifts for new moms. So my favorite is the Cocoon, which is a nursing cover. It's breathable, it's stylish, comfortable. I absolutely love it. And even though we are past the breastfeeding stage, we still use it as a blanket, a shawl, a scarf, and then a cover on the stroller when we need it. So we get lots of use out of it, and I absolutely love mine. But they also have a new mama bundle that comes with a bunch of goodies for new moms, including a cocoon. I also have the halo necklace from them, which I absolutely love, and that was a gift for Mother's Day this year. So lots of good gifts. So if you're going to a baby shower, or you've got a mom who's got a birthday coming up, or holidays, whatever, if you would like to check out what they have for her at We Are Amma, you can use the code Melissa, MELISSA, to get 15% off your entire purchase. And we will get some of the proceeds from your purchase as an affiliate for We Are Amma, and we use that to help support the show and everything that I'm doing with this project. So we appreciate your support in that way. And also, I just don't have enough positive things to say about We Are Amma. So definitely check them out. I'll leave the link to that website in the show notes. Okay, so let's take some time now to talk about how you can build these little micro energy resets into your day. So I want you to think about these as small micro resets, little opportunities to give you a boost rather than doing like some huge overhaul for your energy. Okay. So we're going to break it down like everything on this show into biopsychosocial and spiritual domains. So biologically, if you need a quick reset, go chug a glass of water. Seriously, getting that water into your body, helping you to feel hydrated, is going to make you feel so much better. And then go do some stretching, even if it's just 30 to 60 seconds of stretching. You can just do some upper arm movements, roll your head around, reach up way above your head, get your body moving a little bit. Go walk up and down the hall if you need to, move your body, chug a glass of water. That's your biological reset. If you need a psychological reset, take 2 minutes to do some quick journaling. If you need some prompts, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And when I say, what am I feeling? I'm talking about emotions wise, how am I feeling, but also physically, where am I feeling it in my body? And also thoughts wise, what is going through my brain right now? So write that out for 2 minutes, then take 30 seconds to a minute to close that out with, how would I rather be feeling? And by switching your brain to focusing on what it wants to do instead, it's going to help push you in that direction. Okay. We're not dismissing how you currently feel. We're acknowledging it, and we're going to take it to the next step of doing something about it. Okay. So 2 minutes of journaling doesn't have to be fancy. You can do it on your notes app in your phone, or you can have a special journaling app. I don't care. You can write it down on a piece of paper and throw it away for all I care. Does not matter. It's the act of actually checking in with yourself and slowing down to take a pause when you're able to for 2 minutes. Okay, if you need a social reset, you could send a voice memo to a friend. You could open up Snapchat and watch messages that you're behind on. Maybe that's just me. You can get on to messages, send a message to a friend, whatever, just connect with someone quickly. Now, sending a text is one way to do this to check in, but I'd rather you also find a way to connect with them. So getting something from them rather than just sending, but figure out what works for you, what you have time for. But if this is an opportunity for you to boost your energy, find a way to really make that connection feel special. And then spiritually, I want you to think about something, at least one thing, probably could think of more, of what you're grateful for, what those blessings are in your life, and focus on that, meditate on that, feel thankful for that. And you can do that anytime throughout the day, but especially a good way to end the day with a little bit of an energy boost and just some reflection on the day is with some gratitude. So those are 4 different ways that you can put some of those micro boosts of energy or micro resets into your day. The reflection question I want you to ask yourself is, if you had 5 minutes right now, if you hit pause on this podcast and you wanted to do a reset, which kind of reset would help you the most? So whether you pause this episode right now and do that, or you finish this episode and then you go back to do that, doesn't matter, but I want you to think about, if you had 5 minutes right now, what would you do for yourself? How would you use a micro reset to give yourself a little boost of energy? Okay, so let's talk about energy stewardship versus time control. So I want you to recognize that we do not have control over time, right? Time is this idea of like, it's constantly moving. There's nothing that we can do to hit pause on it and slow things down. But there are many times that I wish we could. But we can't stop time. We can't change time. We can't roll it back. Nothing like that. What we can do is steward our energy so that when you're in the moment, you can really be present and enjoy it. And that can make time feel like it's slowing down a little bit. It's really interesting when you consider the concept of time, and I'm not going to go too deep and philosophical here, but when you do something fun, you're having a great time and it feels like time goes so fast and you wish you had more of it. And the same is true when you are so bored and something is taking forever and it's literally like the slowest 60 seconds of your life over and over and over again. That's because we aren't managing our energy in those moments. I think it is so important to figure out, to really harness the skill set of being mindful in the moment and enjoying what you're doing. We went for a walk as a family this past weekend on the beach, a couple times, I think, actually. And when we're doing it, it's so easy to just bop along and do whatever. And I try so hard to slow myself down, to look at my son, see how big his feet are compared to ours in the sand, or how cute and little his hand is when he's wanting to hold our hand and walk along the water, or how he's trying to scoop back from the water, whatever it might be. Like, these are precious moments that fly by so fast. But if we can be intentional with our energy in the moment, being present, it makes it feel so much better. And then instead of it just being another thing, it's a really special moment that we're sharing together. And the same is true when you're, having to spend a lot of time on something that you don't enjoy. If you're dreading it the whole dang time, you're going to feel exhausted by the end of that shift or whatever. But if you find a way to find meaning and purpose in what you're doing and make the most of that, it's going to feel so much better. So you can't control the time piece, but you can control your energy and your mindset and how you're showing up in that amount of time. So I want you to try to shift your mindset from someone who is managing time to an energy steward. How am I stewarding my energy? How am I taking care of it? Am I aware of it? Am I monitoring it? Or am I letting it just come and go freely without any care in the world? How am I taking care of the energy that I do have and making sure that it's being used for something good and productive and helpful for me to help me feel healthy and whole and well? And there's going to be times when we have to do things that we don't really enjoy, and that's okay. That's just part of it. But even in those moments, if we're mindful about what we're doing and we understand the purpose behind it that's leading to something bigger, it can make it a lot more palatable. So I want you to ask yourself this question, reflect on this. How would your week look different if you planned around your energy instead of your hours? If you're like me at work, you use something like Outlook or Google Calendar in order to map out what you're doing during the day. And sometimes, especially as someone who has ADHD, I get really frustrated with that because I'm like, it does not matter if I put 30 minutes down for this task or 2.5 hours for this task. At the end of the day, if my brain isn't in it and I don't have the energy to get into it, it's not going to happen. It's not going to get done. And so a lot of times it's more helpful for me to think about what are the tasks that I need to get done today? Which one's going to take the most energy, and then map it out that way. Sometimes I just need to check in with myself and recognize that I need to start with the little tasks that don't take a lot of energy. And that way I get momentum going and I feel really good about what I'm doing and I keep going and I get a bunch of things crossed off. Sometimes I know myself, I'm like, I don't have a lot of energy to give today. And this thing really needs to get done and that's going to take a lot of energy. So I need to start with that. And then by the time that's done, I don't have room for other tasks that have less energy requirements, right? But that's something that I have to do to check in with myself to figure out, like, where am I at today? What kind of energy am I bringing to the table? What really needs to get done? And so mapping it out in terms of tasks and energy for each task is much more helpful than doing it by time blocks. But I don't know. I haven't found the perfect system. I'm being honest. I haven't found the perfect system, but that's kind of how I do it. So I'll have a general idea on my calendar, and sometimes I'll have patient appointments. Well, I have to be available for that at 10:30, right? I don't get an option there. But with other things that I'm filling in, it makes more sense to think about it from an energy perspective. So along those lines, if I know that I have a stretch of, 3 sessions back to back to back, well, at the end of those 3 sessions, my energy is going to be depleted. So it makes zero sense for me to put something on my calendar after that, even though I might have, another hour and a half left of my workday, my brain is done. So I need to figure out, okay, am I going to go for a little walk to rejuvenate myself? Am I going to go take a little snack break and then come back? Am I going to call it quits for the day? What am I going to do? Recognizing that how I structure my day for my energy doesn't matter if I have a whole bunch of time at the end, if there's no energy left. I hope that makes sense. Figuring out what works best for you is key here. Okay, a quick reminder. If you did not listen to last week's episode, you may have missed that I made an exciting announcement about a new program that I'm getting started. But if you did hear it last week, this is just a quick reminder. I am starting an 8-week coaching program for women who are finishing maternity leave and returning to the office and just feeling totally torn, ridden with guilt, confused, all the things. And I'm going to help take them over the course of 8 weeks in combination with curriculum that I've put together and also group coaching, going to get them to a place where they feel confident and aligned and empowered to be the best version of themselves as a mother and as a professional career woman. So if that is something that you need, or you know somebody who needs that, send them my way and I'm happy to tell them more about the program. It's officially launching in November, but I'm going to do a soft launch, like pilot launch in October. Be happy to talk to them. Be a great way for them to save some money if they want that program to try and do it in October. So let me know. Send me a message if that is interesting to you. Okay, so to recap what we talked about today, your energy and saving your energy and being smart with your energy is much more important than focusing just solely on how you organize your time. And so if you start by identifying where you're draining your energy, what's depleting you of your energy, and one thing that's energizing your energy, that's going to help you move forward in a better, more healthier direction. So I want you to let me know either in the comments or send me a message. What is it that you're going to be working on? What are you removing that's draining your energy, or what are you adding that's going to fuel your energy? And let me know what that is. I love hearing from you. Also, as always, if this episode resonated in any way, shape, or form, and you think it would be helpful to somebody else, please go ahead and share it with them so that they can check it out. If you liked what you heard, go ahead and leave a review. It's a really helpful way for me to grow the podcast. And with all that being said, I think that's it. Take care of yourself. And until next time, be well.